me put my phone away as well.
Hey guys, my name is Raw Skye. I am here with Toni Jessup and we have a massive announcement. We are hosting the 2026 Phuket Retreat, Thailand. So, hey Toni.
Hello. Sawadee-ka. I'm in Phuket, Thailand, already here. So come and experience the magic of Phuket.
Oh, I am so excited for this. So just a little backstory here. I have been inspired by Toni from when I first went raw. And I was always like, if I ever get to Thailand, I have to connect. And my dream was always that if I got to Thailand, that we would do this. And we're doing it.
And it's amazing how things like transpire. As soon as you put it out there, no limits, no deadlines, no set times, it'll just happen. And just that's the way I move now, the way I work. I'm just like, I have ideas, but I'm not controlled in them anymore. And I think this is the lifestyle. Like being raw has really shifted me into this much more present, energetic. Like I just feel like everything's magnetic, everything's going to happen the way it should. And it, like for us, it has. You know, we've kept in touch for a long time now, and it's amazing that we finally get to connect.
That's right. Now, what we'll do is just maybe go back into some of like our backstory where we came from, so you know a little bit about us and how we got to where we are with raw food. So, Toni, do you want to start with your raw food journey?
There's obviously a lot to unpack, but I'll make it as concise. I've been vegan for over 16 years, and it's when I actually came to Thailand. Isn't it interesting that I'm here? The shifts were made because I was volunteering at a dog rescue, one of the biggest in Asia. And I always loved animals. I have this heart for, I cry when I see, movies that are showing any cruelty, neglect, and I'm just really sensitive, especially with animals. And when I came here 16 years ago, that's roughly, because it was the same time I went vegan, because I saw this dog, and I was on the path of vegan. It wasn't very clear cut, but I saw this dog that was really badly neglected, emaciated on the streets. It was actually in one of the islands. I think it was Koh Phangan. It wasn't very clear because it was a free week exploring. Anyways, I left this dog and I felt so guilty that I couldn't do anything. I felt like, well, what do I do? Like it just stuck with me. So I made it my mission to go out the following year and volunteer at Soy Dog Foundation. And they was heavily involved with stopping the dog meat trade, helping the dogs. The first priority is sterilizations. So I got heavily involved with that, and I met an interesting soul it was about a 3-month volunteer program that I did there. And he was eating bananas. It was my first introduction to fruitarianism as well. I was curious about veganism, but he was sat there eating all his bananas, and I was like, I'm stuck in with some rice, and I had some chicken at the time. I was all sat around the table talking about this dog meat trade. Now, horrific it was. It was in Thailand, in Cambodia, Vietnam, and Chiang Mai. And they were stopping the dog meat trade, especially sending the dogs over to Vietnam and Cambodia, because it was not so. They'd done a lot of work over in Thailand, and I was shocked and appalled. And he then was like, well, it's only like eating cows and chickens, and everyone else was just like, yeah, whatever. And it really hit me. And I was like, gosh, yeah, it just cemented I needed to go vegan. And I was curious about his lifestyle. So I looked into the Frilly Banana Girl, because he was into all of that, Harley. And I did also their events as well, the cycling events. So that was my start of my path. I didn't really want to go raw vegan, but I was high. And for pretty much of that, I was in and out for those years. But it wasn't until around 6 years ago when I went through a very low period. It was another awakening I felt, because that was a pretty strong awakening. And I was always very curious about life and where we come from. And I used to have these deep conversations when I used to work in the gym in the UK to these personal trainers, and they'd be like, what are you going on about? And I was like, I don't know, I feel like we're energetic beings, and I couldn't articulate it. And then I went on a 40-day juice cleanse 6 years ago, and I was never going raw. I was high raw for around 6 years prior to that. So like I say, it was in and out of my vegan journey, but I just felt it was too extreme. But I did still suffer I cleared a lot of things. I actually didn't have IBS so much. I suffered from that, an iron deficiency before going vegan. And then I was always yo-yoing with my weight. So I had a bit of a distorted way of eating. I would binge eat excessively to deal with like just life and just general struggles. And I didn't realize how depressed I was. And then I went, and then I was using food to comfort. And when I took the comfort food away, I realized, oh my goodness, like there's some traumas here. There's a lot of heavy things going on. So I worked through a lot. This is just in a nutshell. I worked through a lot of deep healing, not just physically, but my binge eating, my emotional eating, my comfort eating. I really worked on the root cause of all of that. And I don't binge eat. Like the addiction to that now is just lifted. And that's all down to the cleanses and the raw lifestyle and bringing in the spiritual practice. And I think they're all linked. And it connected me back to my heart, myself. And now it's like that freedom of food freedom. I don't have no addictions. It feels liberating. I'm not saying I'm fully healed in a lot of, like there's still some traumas coming up. And I think that happens in life. We've got wounds, but I'm not suppressing anymore. I'm not distracting. I'm not using food to escape. That for me, I'm feeling my pain. I'm feeling the hair in the world and what's going on within. And, as above, as below, I'm really digging deep. And this is why I love this path. I love this lifestyle because, I don't have those, I'm not suppressing my feelings. So I help others because I ended up sharing this journey when I started 6 years ago with my cleanses. And that's how I've moved into this space of helping others, because I was helping others go more healthy and vegan. And now I'm really like passionate about this lifestyle because of not just the weight loss. It started out as weight loss for many. They loved the weight out that they were seeing me keep consistent with my weight and getting lean and showing people that you can still build muscle and feel strong. But really the deep work is for me, that deeper layer of that truth, the connection to self. That is what I'm about now. And I can see a shift in just the way I'm going, even in my business, and people are coming to me for a much more connection to themselves and working through more of the heart space rather than this ego, this lower self. And I'm really passionate. So you're going to see a lot more of that coming into my content. So I'm really excited because I love this path. I'm meeting more just beautiful souls that are just genuine and just passionate and are really more, really heart-centered. And this is what I've discovered on this path, is they're my tribe. I really want to speak more. And that's why they want the retreat and all the intentional communities to come together, to building this beautiful connection of heart-centered souls.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love how you said you want to get real. You had to get real. And that's what I see, especially the content you share. It's so unique because it's all soul. As you said, most people come to this lifestyle with ego. I have a sore knee. I want to fix this knee. It's all the knee. The knee's the problem. And then you take away that and there's like there's trauma, there's spirit, there's mental health, there's what is my life purpose. And not many people are prepared for that, are they?
No, it's not one of the easiest paths, but it's a path that I can't be anything else. It's like I just can't go. I sometimes feel envious of those that could just, move through life. And I don't feel they truly are. I think there's a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's the caveat right there.
We have the addictions. That's why we have the drugs, the alcohol, any form of addiction. If that's something that's consistent, taking over to suppress, then I feel like you're staying in this frequency. And I just don't want to stay in that frequency. I really know, even though it's not the easiest path, it really is not the easiest, but it is worth it. And And I love Carl Cease's work. He's been one of my biggest mentors throughout this journey. And meditation in just the present, and really, really connecting just back to the soul of this divine self, and that we're more than this ego and these desires and circumstances. Because I suffered from depression, anxiety, and it comes in waves. I'm feeling it. But yeah, instead of using now the food, that was my biggest way to escape it all of life, and or not understand it. I think it had a place. I think it helps to, depending on the stage of your journey. I think there's when things are too much, when trauma's too intense, sometimes our body naturally, I'm not as against it, because sometimes it might be necessary in that part of your journey, do you know, that to self-soothe. Maybe that, I'm not saying on all things, but I think it may have a place. But for me, I was ready to delve deeper. I was ready to go higher.
Yeah, I think everyone has to remember that this is God's planet, and I believe God is like the spirit, the soul, it's in everything. It all has a purpose out there, whether it's even to destruct our soul a bit, to rebuild the soul, like to get the soul to have these soul lessons. And I had to come to a place of acceptance as well, that the more I sat in a space, and I could share my journey in a second, of that's bad and that's bad and that's going to hurt people and the world's crap. And I was becoming toxic again. And I had to free myself and realize that everyone's having experiences. I used to experience a lot of those addictions, right? And I am a better soul for going through the darker times to come out through the light. And so, yeah, when I choose now to see the world as the most beautiful place there is, because when I did get to a stage where everything was on this journey, fearsome and toxic.
Heavy. I think there is that. I'm a big believer in that shadow, where I feel sometimes it's necessary, and it's integrating. I'm not opposed to we shouldn't have any darkness, but that's not life, is it? That's and it shapes us if we can just have a different perspective on it, and not adding an extra layer of guilt and shame for feeling that way. I think if we can really feel it and just listen and be present with those feelings, that's how we overcome a lot of things. I mean, we can unpack that in a great depth, but your journey is super inspiring. Like, the way you're just on fire now, but because you had many years, you didn't have that.
Yeah, but I want to say before I get into this that my light now is from my dark. Like, I can shine so bright because I had so many lessons that I had to learn in the dark. So I first got sick when I was 8 years old. I got chicken pox. And when I went to go back to school, I would just start falling asleep in class. My glands were out here. I was going to doctors. Doctors were saying her blood tests are fine. Chronic fatigue was coming out. It could be chronic fatigue. It could be glandular fever. There was no blood test for it back then. And this went on for a few years, where I was getting more tired, and I'd fall asleep earlier in the week at school and be taken home for the rest of the week. Anyway, I went to an ear, nose and throat specialist, who looked down my throat and said, your tonsils have been eaten away by bacteria. Never had tonsillitis. We need to remove them. Also, if we can, we'll take your adenoids out. So I had the tonsils and adenoids out. And yes, over the next few months, I slowly got better. I was actually a very fit and healthy, let's call young teen. So from, say, I think at that stage it might be 11 to 16 or 12 to 16. I was doing state water polo. I was doing touch football. I had a boat. I could run my boat, my motor, my wakeboarding, my kneeboarding. I was doing rep netball, state netball, you name it. I was involved. Dancing. I was active, right? And then when I was 16, I got like bloating and back pain. And then the pain just kept getting worse and worse. And I went to naturopaths first, and chiropractors and osteopaths, and I was tried all different diets and all different herbs, and I just continued to decline, to the chronic fatigue, to the pain was getting so bad I was needing surgeries to cauterize the area, take out nerves, have glands taken out. This went on, and at about 22, I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. Like, I felt like I can't deal. And then a surgeon went in and found I had a second piece of uterus attached to nerves and ligaments on the uterosacral ligament. They called it endostromatosis. Endo being inside the body, stroma being organ or meat in wrong place, and osis made it a disease. It was really rare. They hadn't seen it before. But being a congenital disease, I would have had it happen in the womb. But then as I turned 8 and 9 and the body releases hormones, my body started mapping itself for excess amounts of hormones because it was like I had extra uterus, right? So they took that out, and I did relatively well for a couple of years. I worked, and I had chronic fatigue, still came off the medications they put me on, but then it came back. They did more scans. I think they did a few more surgeries, exploratory surgeries. They did, and I always had cysts, and I had started to get really anemic. And the doctors like, it's because you have hormone problems and all the bleeding and having these surgeries. And so I got so anemic. What we didn't know was anemia at the time. I started to just black out around the house, and Mum would hear these bangs, and she'd find me, and I'd stand up, and I wouldn't remember I'd passed out. Now, I'd actually run out of blood in my body to get to my brain because I was bleeding out internally with a duodenal ulcer, which I didn't feel because the pain in my pelvis was so strong. The pain in my pelvis was so strong. They use machines they do for women in labor to get them to biofeedback machine to get them to calm that area. I had no start reading. It was off the charts how much my nerves were constantly firing. Anyway, so my hemoglobin's really low, and they're like, is there any new symptoms? I'm like, no, I have this rare disease, and they're going to send me to another hospital for this. Like, I'm in a trauma hospital. They're going to send me to another hospital once they gave me a few blood transfusions. Anyway, a gastro doctor said, have you got any new symptoms? I said, at night, it's like someone's stabbing me in the chest. And he said, look, to my mum, we'll give her a scope, come back in an hour and a half, have a shower, come back, and we'll move her to the next hospital. 14 hours later, they bring in a surgeon from another hospital, another trauma surgeon, because none of the 7 surgeons in the room apparently could fix it. They cut me from like here all the way past my belly button, pulled me open. They had to keep infusing blood where they're cauterizing both sides, up and down the digestive tract, because it just had rotted and bled out, and I was in so much pain from my hip, I didn't know. Anyway, I came to in ICU, and then you're waiting in HCU, and then you're still not eating, and then you're in a unit, and you slowly start eating, and I'm about to go home. Night before I'm about to go home, I projectile red blood everywhere and then black out, like everywhere. Rush me back up into emergency surgery, open me again, try cauterize everything to blood transfusions. If they said to me, if it happens again, we have to remove, and they drew this diagram. And there is I can link a video after this to this where they drew a diagram that they'd take up my stomach, duodenum, and top of intestines, which had all rotted if I bled again. So come out of like HCU and back into a unit, and then I start bringing up blood. And so back in, and then another massive long surgery. I think it was about 12, 14 hours again. They cut me open and just start taking out what was all rotted. And then I came through that, got back to work. This was the time of my life I'm working. By the end of that year, the pain in my hip was back. So I went back to the neurogynecologist, and he's like, we do not want to do any more surgery on you. You've had so much, it becomes detrimental. And I'm like, you have to go in. You cannot leave me like this. And another doctor did some more surgery, and then back to this doctor, and he went back in and he said, I'm so sorry. We did a surgical error where we took out the disease or the endostomatosis, but we left a bit, and it has now spread onto all the cells, are spread onto your bowel and your bladder. So when I'm cycling through my period, it's all that whole bottom part is now just all cramping. I ended up on like 500 milligrams of OxyContin morning and night, 60 milligrams of OxyContin breakthrough, Valium. I was on dexamphetamine for ADHD, antidepressants for pain. I was on stomach medication, hormone medication, a whole lot of vitamins, infusions for iron because I'm missing the part of my stomach which absorbs iron, B12 injections. I was also put on antispasmodics. I was taken into cardiac units, put on ketamine when the pain got really bad. I had a fentanyl patch on my arm, which was changed every 2 days, not 3 days, of like 170 micrograms. The pain was just unbelievable. I'd also have Botox in the spine, local anesthetic in the spine, with the spine, the pelvis area. And I would have surgeries to correct it, surgeries for the Botox, to find the spot to put the Botox in. I was just knocked out all the time to have these surgeries for that. And then they put me into menopause, chemically induced menopause. All my pain stopped. So I still had issues, right? But my pain, as I knew it, had stopped. So I said, no more drugs, no more of this. You give me a hysterectomy and the problem should go. And so they didn't want to at the start, but then they realized they kind of had to. They gave it to me and it did help with the pain, but man, going through with what I'd already been through, going through menopause instantly is not something I wish on even my worst enemy. That was not very nice. But then after that, coming off all the medication is where people have probably seen photos of me, where I ended up 37 kilograms. Every time they changed anything, it was like my body couldn't cope anymore. I was taking off the opioids faster than they were recommending because I just felt so sick from it. Then I'm vomiting from it, getting POTS, blood sugar issues, tachycardia, cardiologist. I had tears like down below from constipation. I had to inject to go to the toilet because I was so constipated all the time. Then I was in ICU a few times because my body was just like shutting down. This is where I dissociated and I basically kind of forgot who I was and had like a psychotic split where basically I'm in a separate reality to what I know as reality today. And I was just about off all the medications, but they took me off the rest, including my hormones, including antidepressants. It was like all the opioids and being 37 kilograms and kind of thrown in a psychiatric public hospital on the floor because I was just so distressed. It was like being in a hell. That was losing my stomach. It was literally a walk in the park next to this. We call it the start of Dark Night of the Soul. Come through that, I went paleo. I did okay that year, but I didn't have much memory. I'd go to the gym, work for my brother-in-law. By the end of that year, I had shingles through the eye. I had a functional neurological disorder, which displayed like a stroke, couldn't walk, couldn't talk some days, had carers again. This is where I went vegan. So this is where I'm at beyond rock bottom. I thought rock bottom was way back in my 20s. I'm now 37, I think. And what I realized is, and this is all part of the awakening to me, is nothing's eating me. I have great fears and concerns for my health, but nothing's thinking about taking me or my, I don't have babies, but what right do I have to be like at rock bottom? Like animals aren't, should be thrown out to pasture and nothing's attacking me. And so I would ask mum or the nurses to give me vegan food. That was totally about nothing with a face. I mean, I know oysters don't have a face, but that wasn't even something that came up. Just nothing with a face that had babies and everything. That was actually quite a lot to do because I then spent the next 2 years in psych hospitals with severe PTSD, dissociation, memory loss, the functional neurological disorder. I came out of the neurological hospital for that. Could do things, but very robotically. It wasn't the same as having flow and muscle movement. The PTSD was so bad that when I finally got back home on a few psych meds, every time I drank, the PTSD was much less. So I would just sip on wine most of the day. Really, it was only about a bottle of wine and maybe 2 shots of vodka a day, which the psychiatrists and the psychologists didn't think was that bad, considering a lot of people come home and drink a bottle of wine after work type thing. It wasn't, with what I'd been through, that wasn't their main concern. In my head, I was like, I've got a couple of years of this before I get liver problems or whatever, right? No, 3 months I'm in hospital with my liver failing. And at this point, mum and dad have said, and you have to understand, because people are like, how did your parents just leave you? And how did you end up like homeless type thing? And I'm like, well, I was stealing alcohol from them. I'm already sick. I'm there drinking. If I could get up, which I really couldn't by this stage, I would smoke if I could get up for even a small period. It was like watching somebody sick self-destruct. So mum and dad said, we can't be your carers or bring carers in anymore. You have to do this yourself. So I tried to go to rehab. I kept having seizures and ending up in hospital. And then they'd let me go and I'd just sleep outside hospital. Even when I have a phone with money on it, I couldn't push the buttons most days because this functional neurological disorder, my brain just didn't work. My brother-in-law did try and help me, but even when I got hotel rooms, I sometimes wouldn't come back or end up in psych units and get scheduled. And then eventually I got my own place. I can't remember, some member helped me get my own place. And at that point, it was COVID, and I'd been vegan, and I'd order my vegan food, never cooked for myself, but I'd bring in the food and just eat it. I was too sick to cook. I just ate carrots or some nuts, some bit of sauerkraut. And when I did that, I could do a couple things, like in a way that was very, what I would call almost like moving forward. And then I would have some dry roasted pumpkin, tomato, basil, and garlic, and I wouldn't get up for 4 days. The first time after eating was the worst, and I'd slowly get better if I ate fresh food. And I was in bed, so I just eat fresh food. Then I would be feeling well, so I'd make myself some ginger and steamed cauliflower and eat it, couldn't get up. And I'm like, Skye, and everyone's just heard my story, what are you willing to do to have a life, if you have to eat the food raw, is that like, that's got to be better than surgeries and pain and suffering. I was like, you can do this. And at this stage, because I couldn't really read or concentrate or do much, I was very connected to any time I could get near a window, the sun, the moon. From the first time I had that break with reality, my only friend I felt that was constantly with me was the sun, moon. I could get out to a little courtyard, there were flowers. So with the raw foods, and when I could get outside, I'd put my feet on the lawn out the front, the little grassy bit. There was a funny tree at the back. I'd hug it. I was shaking a lot, coming off a lot of medications and alcohol and stuff. But as more I sat in nature, jumped in the local river when I could finally get down there, all my symptoms went in like 6 weeks. And it just evolved. Within 2 months, I was building a website. Within 6 months, I'm working and purchased my first apartment. I'm reconnected to family. My hair's growing back. I'd lost most of my hair. My hair was growing back. It was like, I'm getting chills. You can't even like understand such a pivotal point when you've been through so much, when you ask yourself, what are you truly willing to do to not feel pain, to not be on disability payments, to not have people tell you what you should be eating, like, or doing. You get to choose. It was like this, and I do that every day. So when someone presents me with food, and yes, we can get tempted, it's like, that's like choosing homelessness. That's like choosing pain. That's like choosing surgery. I choose meat. I choose apples and carrots and smoothies and juices and doing retreats in Thailand, right? Like, I choose that. So yeah, that's my story.
Do you know, it's very interesting because those on the call will be coming from all different, experiences, and it's a very clear. What I can see, in just to make it simple, is that some come to this lifestyle through desperation or inspiration. Yours is very clearly desperation. Mine's more inspiration, really, but there was moments of desperation because I've had many, the dark night of the souls, where I'm just like, I want to be mentally well. I want to be happy. I want to. I never had severe health issues. Mine was more of I lost myself. I originally called my business The Wholesome You because I was like, I always felt, what was wrong with me? Insecurities, not feeling that if I fit in the world. So I definitely would say I fall into I was inspired, and there's only really 10% that come to this lifestyle through inspiration. Most people come through desperation, and it's sad but true. I wish more would come through inspiration. But seeing stories like yourself, and for people who like that's, and it encouraged me thinking, well, I don't want to get so sick. And your stories, you were so sick. We take our health for granted, what we're capable of doing, being able to do, and when that's taken, we don't want to get to that point. We want to. So my focus is preventative, and I know yours is, but you want to help people get out of those trenches that you have. That's why it's great for us to come together, because it's like this synergy of inspiration and that desperation coming together. That wherever you're at, we can shift, and massive, and things shift so quickly. Like for 6 weeks, you were feeling like, from what you've gone through, that's fast of many years of suffering.
It's very fast. And you have to understand, what almost brings me to tears is how much admiration I have for that 10% that changed their life due to inspiration. Because, hey, Mum, there's my mum there. My mum's.
I don't see who's coming on, do I? It doesn't.
Oh no, there's 11 people on watching, but I just saw my mum made a comment there. Oh, but like, back when it could have been inspiration, I didn't have the willpower. And I guess my story, someone can check in at any time that, you can be a little bit sick, you can go through hardships, and then it just continues to get worse and worse and worse. But imagine if I did change my life when it first happened. And I think even presented with the option, for me, I know my soul and I know myself, it wouldn't have happened. The other thing I want people to take note of is how often I say in interviews is, losing my stomach was not the tough part. Losing myself was and even my mum's watching, is I say to her, all I've wanted back through this journey is myself back. You have no idea. You may think that you're not worth anything. You may think that you don't like yourself, but I promise when you lose the person and you lose the little girl you were, the person who loved to do dance classes, you lose all of that. To me, that's worse than an organ or a surgery. And I want anyone along their journey, whatever stage they're at, to see that change is possible. And there is so many different people in this community. But I like that we are like that, right? We're that yin and yang, where it's like your soul shifted through. But mine was like so heavy. It was almost this physical thing that had to come out. And so
I do feel like the ones that stick to this is because they're really connected to their truth, their heart, you know, without using, when you start to realize not just physically what's in the food, you know, the chemicals, the toxic, all of that, but it's really the energetics of it. For me, is that weighed down feeling, the heaviness of it. And for me, I having that lightness in my life and not having the addictions overtake my life, like be able to have that freedom and really connect. It's a level that it's sometimes difficult to share until you've gone through it. And it wasn't until I did the cleanse, because I was going through a breakup at the time 6 years ago, and I was just like shedding layers. I was just stripping. I was like, who am I? What? And Carl Cease always used to say, like, just merge me with my soul. So I was, because he was doing 2-hour meditations every single day, and he went raw at the time. So that's why I was inspired. I was like, oh my gosh, I was already inspired by his work. And it's so interesting how someone else who you really, you know, you can have all, you know, those that you look up to. It's inspiring. And I was very inspired by him. And I was like, okay, I'm doing 2 hours meditation. There's got to be more to life than this. I just felt like I was always in survival. I'd come from poverty. You know, I didn't have a lot in my life. I had a lot of trauma around family dynamics. I was pretty much pushed out. 16, I left home. I was on my own, and I just wanted to get out and find a better life. And at the time, I just felt so alone in the world for such a long time. I didn't realize until my 30s that I was having abandonment issues, and I was seeking food to soothe that and taking security from that. And I had no one else really, I felt I had no one to rely on. And that's why community now in my 40s, I'm really seeking the deeper connections and having soul friends. You know, I always had around me at the time, everyone's on a different journey, but more focused on superficial things, material things. And that's nice to have. But for me now, it's the depth. I want to go deep. I want this next level. And it just gives me more meaning. It's more like I'm saying not to have an attachment to that, because I'm all about letting go of these attachments. But life is just, without the junk and the crap food, it really brings you to this different frequency. And all I want to do is, because when you're in as well, just to share, is like when you're in, I help with the street dogs. There's a lot of suffering, and I'm seeing with clients as well, there's suffering that. There's the health, there's the mental health, but also with the dogs. I started to hate the world. I was like, people are suffering, you know, and I was blaming, and I was in this victim. And it's, you know, you have a right to be angry and hurt. I was seeing so much abuse in front of me. You know, everybody abusing everybody, the keyboard warriors online, everyone attacking, you know, and there's all that going on and that frequency. And I'm seeing right in front of the dogs, like literally every day I'm seeing abuse and neglect. And it hurts as empaths, as sensitive. I didn't realize how sensitive I was. I had this exterior, this very masculine, many years, you know, people saying now, my friends, my older friends saying like how I've shifted into this softer space, because I didn't realize how angry I was. I was a vegan activist, and I was like, there's a place for that. And that was the space I was in. But now I'm much more changing the frequency and the energy of everything's a mirror reflection. If I want to see peace and love without outside, it's got to come from it. I want peace as well. Yeah, it's been work. It's been a lot of work. It's more than just this the raw foods, but that has definitely helped me gain this clarity.
Yeah, it is definitely about finding so the reason I need to always choose love and not sit in anger is because when I look at the photo of that girl, that very skinny girl, me, or broken or with no hair, is if you came at her yelling, you shouldn't have those medications in your body. It's your fault for doing this. You would break her even more. What she needs is love. So it's like the inner child is, so everyone that comes on my live, so everyone that comes to the retreat, I want to have love. I don't want to yell at them for, maybe the night before they it was all too hard and I don't know what they had, a drink of alcohol. Me yelling at them is going to make them feel bad and think about the alcohol more. Whereas, and I think of myself, is if you show them some love, and it's not even feeling sorry for them, it's just like, you're here now, would you like a juice or would you like some fruit? Just accepting people where they are. And we live in this world, like you said, keyboard warriors, where when people are behind computers, they feel like they can say whatever they want. But in fact, when I'm on my lives and people do say things like that, is the people I've changed from staying in love. Now, guys, it's not what happens to you in life, it's what you do from what happens to you. And, because some people you might think go through harder things or lesser things, and it doesn't matter what it is, it's what you make of yourself from those situations. And I just wanted to also touch on the energetics and what people put in their bodies, because I get asked often, like, why not carnivore? Now, here's what I have to say to people, and because it comes up a lot, because it's carnivore the algorithm pushes out. Mm-hmm. How many people who are on the carnivore diet do you find coming online and going, oh, yes, I healed, but now I feel God, I see God, I feel it everywhere, I'm so enlightened, I'm inspired, I'm living my life purpose, I've seen none. So it is definitely something about what we're putting in our bodies. We're putting packets of light in, and yes, we're blessed, many of us heal things, but that isn't the huge part I see. And it's not even what we're doing on this retreat, right? It is that side of love and compassion and digging deeper and finding out who you are. And that's what this is all about.
And it's to touch on that as well is, it's fascinating because I can't remember who said it, but maybe it was even Gary Yavosky. And I know it's controversial and for some of us, he's a very strong vegan activist, but he did say you won't see a vegan serial killer. Do you know? It's like, wow, when I see some of my connections with their diets. I do. You're right. I see there's a difference, because some people would say, well, I don't want a feminine, a man that's so feminine, and when they eat plants, they're feminine. Well, no, I know many. Tory Washington, they have this strong masculine presence, but their energy is very calm. And notice that in my preference, now, seeing, especially looking, because I'm searching for that masculine, but not that hard. Don't consider feelings. I want someone in touch with their own truth, their own heart. So you're often seeing much nicer generally I do see that difference, and then less stressed. I've noticed with myself, I'm much more calmer, because I'm an Aries, and I was very hot-headed.
That's why we get on. I'm a Leo. We're both fire. We're both very similar.
But we channel it now. I think it's much, not all the time on the road, but that's another thing I'm working on when I'm driving here in Phuket. But no, here shifting in many ways, and I'm not saying you have to be in the tropics or, but I do feel environment is very. What you put when you're spending most of the time, energy, your food, like you said, the light codes in food, what you're putting into your body, but also who you're spending your time with, your surroundings very crucial in this path of, I enjoy more peace in my life now. And I have chosen to live more out of the main, busy areas. And it's just my nervous system, everything. I didn't realize how much I was in survival mode for years, There's a big story and all of that, but I was in a lot of get out of survival, which most people are, and the feminine, I'm seeing a lot of the feminine coming back to their sense of softness. And we touched on this the other day, and just being much more, present and light, and not always doing go, trying to fix everything. I didn't realize my nervous system was, and that's where stress and your body starts to deteriorate. And if you're looking at preventative, or you want to get back to true health and vitality, we really have to look at the nervous system, how much stress we're putting on every day, what heavy foods, burden foods are we putting on the digestive system, what are we accepting, setting boundaries, not being a people. I was a big people pleaser. And I want to be kind and compassionate, but there's also got to be levels of, I have to say no to certain things. So there's all of that. You really, for me, and this is what I want to teach in the workshops, is this empowerment that we can say no. We can put these boundaries up. And that's a form of self-love. That's why I had so much self-hate, because I felt like people were taking advantage of me, but it was me not putting boundaries up. So I took some or most of that responsibility if people then was pushing. And that's what caused a lot of, I was trying to understand these struggles by using food. And that's why we use drugs, alcohol, food, because we're not setting these boundaries. So there'll be, in the workshop, there's going to be a lot to offer, and, us sharing our minds and how we've come to this lifestyle, because to some it's still extreme. It's so normal for us now. And I forget until I go into other cities or I meet new people, the way I eat is very, very different, and we're in our little bubble online, but not realizing most of the world don't live this way. You know? And it's great to come around people that it's just totally normal, and how it's how we think, and how we want to be putting our attention to more of those that inspire the life you want to create. And if that's living in the tropics, living in a different environment, being around like-minded souls that are moving from the heart, that are working, we might have these sometimes the shadow comes in, reactions to things, but how are we working through that? Are we moving through that in a more compassionate way, not adding that extra layer of guilt and shame in every time we do something that's not what we feels in our highest self?
Yeah, I just think of all of what is so beautiful now is, I think what I craved most and what we'll be sharing on this retreat is feminine energy, right? Being true to what energy comes through us. And I've always, like you said, it was always survival mode. I had to be in more masculine energy, and there was no balance. And finding that peace has been something which is really nice to actually do at this part of my journey. So as much as the food is like an underlying thing, it's also about who you are, your mindset, who you want to become. Now, when I went to Bali with my family, and I was basically having tropical fruit, and I was outside, and I was just in my swimsuit the whole time, getting lots of sunlight, I felt like I grew as a person there more than I had, maybe. And that's not like physical. It's like at a soul level, just because of that environment, like you said, and because like the downloads I'm getting are from sun and tropical fruit. And to have this retreat where we'll be doing fresh raw foods, there'll be sunlight, there'll be water, there'll be a group of people around you to support you through this, I think is magical. Like, I actually think this is magical.
Yeah. And it's so I forget sometimes when I'm here, this is the life, what you're able to create, where I've come from, a small city. It's a very big change. And I want to show others this magical island, the untouched gems that, when people come to Phuket, they think of Patong. And that's where I first started. It's a big party area, which is, depending on where you're at in your life, it's not for me. I like the calm, the beautiful, just the beaches, and there's certain areas and beaches that are just so peaceful, quiet. And Phuket, it's getting more built up now, but there's still many pockets of tranquility and gems. And the resort that we're going to, Selina, is on the east side of Phuket. And that's where I live, down in the south now. I was living in the north of Phuket. It's just absolutely tranquil. It's beautiful. It's going to really connect us back to our soul, and really have this connection to what we're about, what we're doing. And we're going to have workshops, and the raw vegan chef Ganesh coming from, even we've got a lot of experience in the raw foods, but we're going to have an extra body to help us and support us. Delicious food, but there's activities if you want to get involved. There's many different activities to really connect us to our playful side, the feminine, dancing, acro yoga. It's very magical. And there's a drum circle, and we'll be going to a few different beaches as well, and dog beaches where if you want the connection with the dogs, because the dogs are a very big part of my life, and you'll meet a lot of the rescues. And it's a very special place. And I sometimes when you're in it, you take for granted, and then when you do these, you're like, oh my God, you forget this is the beach every morning, able to ground on the sand every day, and being in these. It was interesting. Somebody said to me not so long ago, why are you always in these little vests? And I'm like, because I'm in the tropics. I don't wear jumpers, even inside. Like I hardly ever have the aircon. My body as well. Good thing about this lifestyle, I climatize very quickly. I've always been quite good with the heat, but even more so, you climatize even when you're in the cold, because people think, oh, you're going to be more cold when you're eating raw, but no, your body adjusts better because it's healthier. And it's the same for me. I don't struggle with the heat. I have friends come over and they're really struggling with this level of heat. But for me, it's so funny, because when a little bit of rain comes, I do feel that chill. I'm like, oh, it's a little chilly. And they're like, this is amazing. And I'm like, no, I like the heat.
Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait to be part of this. And as you said, yes, we both do the raw chef thing, but then this frees us up more so to be there and do workshops and to experience Phuket and experience yourself. Like that's what this is about, is like that safe space to support you, feeling you. So, hey everyone joining us.
Oh, I'm seeing them now. I do see some. I didn't see it before. Okay.
So we've got.
Has anybody been to Thailand or Phuket before?
I have, but not raw. So when I was at university, and I was actually sick at this point, but not sick enough to not function, I went to Phuket with my mom and dad and sister. And it was, to be honest, is probably the place I think is just like, it's like a magical world. Like when I think of it, like you've got this like water and beaches which just have nothing on them but like whiteness and the color of the water. And when we went on tours, like I still have it burnt on my retinas how blue, which is mineral rich. Now, when you eat raw foods, nature sings at you. So back then I definitely was beyond toxic, like would have addictive things in my system, and I thought the universe was singing. I'm imagining being filled with raw foods, being there and being like, this is like what it was supposed to be like. And then that makes me find me. And if it makes me find me, you will find you.
This place that I've chosen is it's very special. It's right on the beach. It's got 2 pools. And it's the cabana. So there's different parts to it. It's not a very big place, so it's quite intimate for us all, but we've got our own little area in the garden area next to one of the pools. And so I've been living in Phuket, for those that don't know, 9 years. And I've been coming back and forth for, it's coming up to 9 years. Yeah. So 9 years. So 2016 I came. And, but 15 years was when I first came, and I've every year since then come back. And I was like, how can I live here? I have to be in Thailand. And what brought me to Phuket particularly is because I was volunteering for this foundation, the dog foundation, but I really love the tropics, and because I was getting into the fruitarian lifestyle. Now I have more high fruit. Obviously it makes sense here. So, because the fruit's abundant and mangoes are incredible here. So if you come in April, it will be coming into the durian season. So I'm sure we'll be able to get to some of my local farmers. We'll go and pick some. We could even go and hike up the hill and get some off the local farmers there, right from the tree. So
now that's heaven. That's
That'll
like
be a
to
good
me, just
experience.
like that's that perfection where you're in like the rain, all the tropics and the trees, and it's
Yeah.
warm, and you get your durian with those around you. And I see all the photos online of people like Lauren Lockman and Jeff Juices who go on those trips, and they all together as a community. And now we're going to do it. So
I
Mum's
know.
also said here we went to. So I apparently went to. See, she's the travel agent. She knows. We went to Bang Tao Bay next to
Yeah.
Kuta Beach, next to Phuket.
Yeah. Not too.
There.
Yeah. Yeah. Kata Beach is lovely. Yeah. We're on the other side, the east side, but the south. The beaches generally are better on the west side. So that's where the most popular areas. But we're on the east lower side. But the tide comes in and out. And it's not the it's a beautiful beach still. You can still walk on it, but they're not as nice. But we will go to, which is 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes away anyways, across the other side. But still the beach, and what we've got, the infinity pool overlooks the beach and access to it. You know, the tide will come in some days. You might not be able, in some moments of the day, you won't be able to walk completely all the time onto the beach, but it's still, yeah. And they do, I can't remember the name of the sports they do on there where you can, I'll find out the name, but we can do those activities as well. But there's meditation. The place is very luxurious, but it's very still Thai feel as well. So it's clean. I wanted clean, but the Thai vibe, not too sterile in the sense of it's just too Western. I know some people love that, but I feel it's got both. I think you'll love that it has that still, because it's a bit wild in Phuket. You know, some people would say some areas are, you know, they could do a lot for the walking areas, pavements. They don't really have a lot of that. It's like you just go.
But we're there for the nature. We're there for the nature and the community and the dogs and the durian. And, you know, I think it'll be such a beautiful experience. So also there's an early bird offer on at the moment, right?
Yeah. I really wanted to offer this because it gives that, you know, get your place fixed, because we're only giving 10 spots away.
Yeah.
We wanted it really intimate. We were going to think of like doubling, maybe even more, but I think we really want that intimacy. So that's why we're doing the early bird to get in quick. So yeah, it's 500 in USD, $500 off. We've done it on the site in pounds just because of my setup on the platform, but you can convert it. I may even have a look on the site where I can write somewhere or I did a different currencies for it, but do check that out. But it is in Great British pounds.
Yes. So at the moment, the early bird is £1,500, right? Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
So
it works. I think it's 18. Is it 8? Because it works out 1,999 USD. So if those, I think you've got on. Are you working? Is most of your on the call? Are you in us? So it's 1,500. Yeah. Because we did the discount. Yes, that's right.
Yes. And that includes the accommodation for it's 7 days. Is it 7 days? It's 6 nights, 7 days. And then you've got meals included there. You've got workshops with us. We've got activities. As you said, there's like journaling, there's meditation, there's group activities. So
is everyone getting a double? It's doubling the.
Oh no, it's just because people keep making spelling mistakes. They need to come to a retreat. People keep writing and then rewriting. Are you talking about the comments? So my mum wrote something.
Not the comment. Oh no, I can hear like this. It's repeating.
Echoing. Is there echoing?
Echoing.
I don't know what that is. I can't hear it at all. I don't know if anyone else can hear it. Was it the whole time?
Just started to happen. Is anybody else?
There's feedback. Somebody said there's feedback. Let me just turn this off. Maybe I'll just come out and come back in. Maybe it was me. Just if I can do that. Just bear with me 1 second.
That's better. Oh, is there a time? Oh no, it is echoing again. And that could be me.
Is this any better? Is that any better?
As we'll soon see. What is it's like a second delay?
Is it better now?
No.
I'm not sure. So Have Fun said there's no echo. I can't hear any echo. It might be your speaker recircling my voice. So my voice is coming through one way, going back through when you're hearing it twice. There's no echo here. Some Yellow Summer said. Do you have a headset? You can try going out, but it may.
I can try and take this off. Let's have a look.
We will get there. It sounds okay. So Ruby and Yellow Summer and Have Fun have said it sounds okay. It must be you're recycling my voice. You get two of me.
It's crazy.
She's like, no.
Hang on, that could be better. Yeah, shall I come back out and come in?
You can, for sure. I'm interested, anyone who's watching this, if they've been to Thailand. I know Mum's there and she's been to Thailand. I think Mum's been to Thailand a couple of times, but has anybody else been there or anywhere else tropical? Because I've only been to, well, I went to Hawaii as well, which is tropical. But to me, when I went to Bali, I can imagine that's a lot like Thailand. I'm saying raw here, eating raw foods, because to me, it's a different experience. Or maybe some of you watching live in the tropics. We are on the time schedule more so for Asia, which is tropical. I know I think it's quite late in the USA at the moment. I think it's the morning in the UK, very early. How are you going there, Toni?
That's better. Yeah.
Is it?
We'll see. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
You okay?
We can. See, we can even work out technical difficulties.
Yeah, these happen, don't they? Yeah. So has anyone else been? Has anyone else been to Phuket?
I don't think so. I was also asking if anyone's been anywhere else tropical, because Bali was such an experience to me. I think so was Hawaii, but to me, Bali, you can almost completely stop and just be. Well, I guess you can in Hawaii, or maybe it was just busy.
Australia, there's a lot of Australians in Bali. It's one of your go-to places, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot, I think, in Thailand, and there's a lot in Canada. When I think of Australians, they usually kind of turn 20 and want to go to Canada and do the ski thing for a year. We do Europe. You would know that. We do. Yes, a lot of us go over to Europe. And then also, a lot, I think, do Bali and Thailand. Ruby said, I'm in Phuket now. I love it, but I think it's touristy. She's on Carter Beach.
Yeah, well, that is the tour. Yeah, you want to be, if you don't want tourists, there's so many areas to Phuket. Phuket's actually a very big place. And I'm in Promtep. I'm at the top of, I'm the far south you can get. And it's so untouched. The beaches are quiet. There's a private beach. But I like Karen. Go to Seoul. I don't know if you know about the Seoul vegan restaurant. Oh, my friends there are amazing. But yeah, that area. And now Bang Tao is becoming, that's why I moved. I lived up in Bang Tao. So I'm more out the way. Ever since Bang Tao is becoming more touristy. So there is pockets. There's Patong, Kata, Bang Tao, but Promtep. Rawai is more community. Naihan communities there is very strong. Not so touristy, especially now with the low season. But I've got Seoul on the list. Yes, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite places. Great vibes there. I love the whole rustic white washwood. It's got a good fit. And they've got they have another Seoul in Panwa as well. That's worth visiting. So Panwa's the east side. Yeah, still lots of the areas still untouched in Phuket, because I do have a love-hate relationship the more it's getting, because it's getting popular, and I get it. They want a piece of the pie, it's great, the raw vegan pie. But the good thing is, if you come to the retreat, I'm gonna be showing you the spots no one goes to. I'm pretty much a local, but I don't really speak much Thai. Very bit Ning Noi.
I don't even know what that means.
Ning Noi is very, very little.
Okay. I like this question here about the foods. Are the meals going to be raw, Thai, Indian, or variety of cultural cuisines?
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to talk more about food tomorrow night when Goresh comes on, right? But it will be a constant variety. We're still doing fruits a lot during the day, and then at night will be, and we're going to set it up so you can have lots of different things to try. Like we're laying it out. It won't just be placed in front of you and you have to eat it. You can still pick some fruit, and there will be different raw options as well.
Yeah, the great thing is there's going to be so much variety for you if you just want simple. Like my daytimes are very simple meals. I eat pretty much just fruit, so you'll have the opportunity to just focus on that. If you want more high fat and gourmet to really explore, then we've got that choice as well. We will be sharing that in a lot more further down the line, but you've got the options for that. So if you want to just keep it simple, high high carb, low fat, there's that option, or you can be very much mixed. But you're gonna have a lot of opportunity to explore a lot of the delicious raw gourmet foods, which I love too. I'm not opposed to them, and especially at this period of time, I'm going to be enjoying the variety.
Yeah, I think that's what I like when I just traveled recently is even if I lived in LA or New York, I would not eat how I ate when I was there, but I'm on a holiday, right? So I want to experience
well, this is no guilt. This is a no guilt place.
That's
so you're
right.
going to enjoy the delicious the food that and we're going to be sharing some tips and tricks in the way we live because and our general lifestyles, but we're going to indulge in it's a good way, not in a heavy feeling, not so good. You're going to feel very vibrant and calm. It's going to be a really nice, even with the variety of activities, it's up to you if you want to join or not join. If you just want to relax and meditate, there's going to be options there. We're going to have live music, and like acro yoga you can watch, drum circle. There's a fire show, quite a few nights, and we'll go to different beaches in the area. So we won't be traveling too. It'll be all very calming for the nervous system. It's more like what Skye shared is the stepping into that feminine energy. Even for the men, if men want to join, it's really becoming just a lot more calm and soft and playful. Not that we'll have some structure, but it'll be very loose. So you'll have options to do things, but it'll be very. If you want a pool day, you want to just relax. There's a few volleyball options in the pool and on the beach. Yeah, many activities, but you dip and choose. It's got a gym on site as well. They do have a spa, so you can have the on-site spa, or you can go out to the more local spas. I do see a question. It says, have you seen anyone with true blue or green eyes born with black looking? Green going raw. Yes, there's been many. Green or black.
I think my eyes were black when I started.
Yeah, yours are, yep. Blue. Are they blue? Are they got
They're very
green?
blue now. Yeah. But what I usually say when I get asked this question is most of my life, the color of my eyes is completely determined on how much time I spend outside. So if you are sick and you're eating toxic food, my eyes start to go gray very quickly, gray-green. And if I eat packets of sunlight, like fresh food, all I want to do is be outside. But even when I was little, eating food that probably didn't serve my body, I was running around outside. I've got these bright blue eyes. Like I think you have to also think about that because most people who get themselves well are consistently outside. And then that kind of falls into the idea that, the eyes really reflect what we see. If you get someone and put them in front of a television and give them fruit, I don't think their eyes are going to change color as much as if you get someone who's consistently outside and you get sunlight in a place that light's supposed to reflect. That's what I noticed. That's my opinion anyway.
My eyes are definitely, especially the whites of the eyes, but the blue, I agree. The more time I spend outside, the brighter they become. And the more fruit I eat, I have seen many fruitarians' eye colors change. So I I'll just share something about, it's a little controversial. My friend who's a fruitarian on Koh Phangan, she's got 2 dogs. They're fruitarian mostly. They do eat some like insects and things, but the color of their fur and their eyes, they were really dark black, and now they're very light brown, and we've got pictures of them. It's fascinating. And they don't suffer from blood parasites, very common here, blood parasites, mange, hair problems. They've, for the last 3 years, I believe, no issues. And they eat a lot of fruit, which some people are very nervous, because even I mean, she's incredible. She's got a lot of knowledge, and just seeing the color of the dog's eyes shift. And I've seen it with others, and I can't recall exact names, but I have seen others, their colors of their eyes do change. And with true blue or green eyes bound with black. Yeah, either they go lighter, and there is some that's completely gone the opposite color.
Yeah, he's followed that up with saying, I've heard it's the true iris color is from linked stagnation, infiltration of the kidneys, and maybe it's from toxins in cooked food. I think it's from everything. I don't think you can change just your food and not change your life. Like, I think you have to also have low stress, have good sleep, and be outside and have some sort of movement. And then it's like, well, was it, the low stress, the sleep, and the sunlight that made your eyes bluer, or was it just the fruit? I think it's like there's like a whole package. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Dr. Robert Morse talks about this. Yeah, he talks a lot about the iris, doesn't he?
So Ruby, we have a gourmet chef who will be on the live tomorrow that will be at the retreat. So there will be plenty of gourmet food. There will be plenty of salads. There will be plenty of veg. If you want to be fruitarian for the whole time, it's Phuket. So there's the option there. It's what you want. But Ganesh we're doing a live, which will be 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Time.
Ruby's in Phuket tomorrow, so it'll be 5 p.m. for you, Ruby, if you're here.
Okay. Yeah, and he will go through some of the foods which he will create. If you have any requests of foods that you like, you can give a shout out to him and see if he wants to create those. But that will be alongside in seasonal fruit and veg if you want. Oh, there's another good question here. Or did you want to say anything more on the food, Toni?
No, that's fine. There's options there for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we book individually, are we sharing a room, or is it solo accommodation?
So this can be, you can share with another person, but it'll be the same bed. There's no 2 singles, it's a double. So it's more like partner, unless you're happy to. So there is an option of sharing. Yeah, I didn't put that on the site. So if you are interested in a share option, I can send you that link. I'll create that. I didn't know if I was going to create a separate page for it, but I think I'll put it on. I'll sort that out. But if anyone's interested in shared, more like with a partner, that is an option.
Okay.
Lemon water.
So is there any other questions you guys have? What's this button? Oh, that says it's a question. Yeah, well,
7 days, 6 nights. And if you do want to stay extra either side, and still hang out here and there, I'll be there. I live here, so.
I said I may not go home.
Never go home. Stay with me.
Hang out with the dogs at the beach and just make it a lifelong retreat. My mum's going to comment soon and go, no, you'll want to come home.
You could have 2 spots.
I can beach hop around the world.
Yeah, you've got loads of places now. It's great.
Yes, it's amazing. It is absolutely incredible. But I am so excited for this.
I tried to look last year where else I wanted to go, because I didn't know this was going to be the long term, but I think it could be. I'm up and down. I'm still trying to find some as close as good as here, and I'm not sure where that is yet.
I don't think you can. So Have Fun has said, is it the same price if we have our own room? No, it's
a little. Sorry.
No, you're right. It's cheaper if you share, right?
It will, yeah. So it's just a little extra if you want
Oh,
to
so
share.
it's a little extra. Sorry, if the room has a double bed in it, not a single bed, is it
No,
going to
all
be?
rooms have double. It's all a double. So really, the shared
Right,
room's really only for a couple, like a partner, like your
right.
boyfriend, your husband. But you can share with a girlfriend if you happen to share the same bed. They just don't offer two single beds.
But how much will it be if they do the share?
It's not. It's what was the? I'll have to have a look.
Okay.
I'll put that on the site this week. But it's just a little more. Basically, you're covering your food, the food costs really. But I'll share that. Let me have a look. I thought I put it up. I can find that out now while you're chatting. Let me.
Well, this is a question for you, Toni. How did you find your place in Phuket? Does that mean place like your residence, or how did you find your place as in yourself?
Yeah.
I think she means your home, right? She means how did you find your house?
Confirm that because I could talk all day on both. So I'd rather give the right one, or do you want to know both? That's how long you got. Yeah, clarify. How did you find your place in Phuket? Because obviously I've been here for 9 years. I wanted to be closer to the airport just because it was easier, but could be answered
Your
either way.
home.
Okay, so I've moved 4 times in Phuket. So when I first came to Thailand, because I was volunteering at Soy Dog Foundation in Nha Yang, I pretty much stayed up there for many months. But I had a few friends. Obviously, I built up a friends network here. They liked Bang Tao area, Laguna area. So for the last 8 years, I was up there, up in Laguna, because that's where I'd always be. That was closer to the airport, and I ended up volunteering for the government dog pound. That was where really I based it on, and now I do adoptions rather than volunteering. I've got a bit of flexibility where I could go, and I always wanted to go to the south. And why I chose the south of the island, it's more vegan friendly. I love it. You've got lots of. Just recently, though, the Raw Healthy Mania has just closed. I was so gutted because I loved that Raw, the Healthy Mania. It was all raw gourmet. But there's still a lot of raw options and vegan restaurants. So I moved down here this year, down in the south. So yeah, I like the south because it's less and Promtep. You've got the viewpoint of Promtep Cape. If you look on Google, Promtep Cape is just beautiful. The views, the beaches, Nai Han Beach, Nui Beach, and not far to the Y Centre. So I've got everything. You can be in your own little bubble. Everyone loves the area I'm in. And to find what I found was a very rare opportunity, isolated on the hill, surrounded by trees, fruit trees, no one really around me too close, so very private. And it's a walk up to Promtep. So I'm very, very blessed. But it's when you live here, you start finding these spots. It was my friend's place because I did have the retreat. For 2 years prior to moving to this little place. I'm not actually here now. I'm at somewhere else. But I had the retreat in Bang Tao and then moved down. Love that you're helping the dogs. Yeah, I just have this for all animals, but dogs. Yeah, dogs is we've adopted over 1,000 dogs now in the last 8-9 years. It's been busy. I've got a gorgeous Hungarian Vizsla, and I do send them overseas, but we try to keep them local. I'm going to go to the government dog pound this week and bring out an old dog, very old, that's just, nobody's interested in. Bring him home, give him some love. I'm going to go and have a look at a few doggies. Just took a dog out from one of the temples last week. Was it this week? Last week. He's in foster. So I have fosters that help me. So if you are going to move here, come and be a foster for me. Someone's asked, how's my Thai?
Not
Noi. Sorry, can. Sabadi mai.
She's a great raw vegan and dog rescuer, but she's learning to be better at Thai. Or maybe we should just we can stick to what we're good at and we enjoy in life. That's what life's like, right?
Languages are definitely not my favorite. I thought I used to study Spanish and did it at college and things, and I went to Mexico last year, and I thought I'll pick it up so fast. I didn't have a clue. I was so embarrassed.
Oh my gosh. Well, at least you got to have, your brain was doing other things. It was focused on relaxing. The universal language of love, relaxation. You've mastered that.
I did keep saying I'm going to learn Thai, but you get by. It's quite, I mean, I know the pleasantries, but then they think you've got to be careful, because when you start to speak a little bit of Thai, they have full-blown conversations, and I'm like, I don't know what you said. I don't know what. I've been craving raw coconut
milk, cream, fruit-based.
I've just made loads in the freezer. I've done the same. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. I've done the ones with thick, and I've done the ones with just water. Yeah.
They sound good. I'm going to do a video soon with my niece, because she loves watermelon slushies, and she loves coconut, strawberry, and banana like an ice cream. But she would love coconut and like strawberry or watermelon popsicle on the same stick. Like, she would love that. I need recipes, please, guys.
Yeah. Well, I don't put much in them. I just like pineapple juice. I love pineapple juice. That's my favorite. Or coconut milk, coconut water. But my new thing, and I've just tried it. I cannot believe I didn't know about it. Fresh coconut with a squeeze of lime. Oh my God, it's a game changer.
So everyone, I woke up this morning and did a video, a live called Whack-A-Mo Coconuts, where I just start whacking open coconuts with the coconut jack. And about 3 people in the live asked me, do you like it with lime? Can I have it with lime? What's it taste like with lime? And I'm like, guys, I thought there was lime. And because I got the lime and watermelon off you. There's a video from 2 years ago. I'm squeezing lime, and I'm like, and my brother-in-law contacted me. He's like, is it good? I'm like, it's so good. It's like really, really good. And so you
now
gave
it's
me that.
Lemon. Now it's lemon. I have lemon on it. Oh, it's a game changer. I can't have watermelon now. Very rare without my lemon.
Yeah, but it's good to know that people are doing it with the coconuts. So, and we're in Thailand, so there'll be coconuts. I will be in heaven. So Ruby said, would you ever move to the tropics, Skye? 100%. In my brain, I already moved to Thailand a while back. I was like, anywhere in the world I would move. Thailand would be the easiest, because I can keep doing my job, and I've got beach and I've got food, and it's not too expensive. So especially coming from Australia, like for me to go to somewhere like America or Europe is really expensive, but somewhere like Thailand, and we're only going based off my memories from when I was 19 here, but whether I actually do it or not, I do like traveling and coming back. Like, my soul feels like right now it's still here. But as for like, if there was somewhere, it would probably be Thailand, just because I feel like it's still safe. It's really pretty. It'd be easy to do what I do. But that's all in my head. So we'll see. We'll see what the universe and my higher self is bringing me towards.
That's the number one thing for me. You don't realize it. The safety. As a single female, the safety here is, I mean, I don't go out late anyways. I'm not a night owl. I go to bed early. But I can travel. I can just get in the car, go travel to the islands. I go all over, and I feel so safe. It's one thing, like when you travel, you don't always feel that. It's a land of smiles. Yeah. Depends on where you go. Because in Phuket, you can experience, there's a lot of madness here. They're definitely, the locals are getting more agitated, and you know, in some ways, yeah, I agree, but because it's starting to get more fast-paced in a lot of areas. That's why I like where I am. It's still got that untouched Thai feel.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. No, it's more for me moving. So I feel like because, as you guys heard my story, and you probably already know it, it's to find myself was just the biggest blessing in the world, right? And I did that here in near the beach near Sydney. And I think part of that, it's made it my safety zone where it's like I can go out somewhere, but I come back to the place I found myself. So, but I technically, especially like every time I travel, I find a huge part of myself, and so I want to do it lots and lots. And whether that turns into, well, you go somewhere and you work and you do one retreat and it turns into staying longer, or you go back soon. And that's essentially what happened with you, Toni, right? You loved Thailand so much. I remember you telling me a story that when you came back to England, it was so cold and depressing. You're like, you were upset.
I couldn't do it anymore, and my depression was getting worse. I was like, how do I make it work? How do I just couldn't be there anymore. I was just not, it didn't feel like home. It was so and I knew that from an early age, from 16. As soon as I left home, I knew I didn't want to be in England. I just didn't know where I wanted to be. But I need to be warm. The tropics is perfect for my body.
Well, you found home, right? I noticed this topic comes up a lot, and I noticed like when I needed to heal, and avocados, when I need to heal, I need to put on weight. I put on 12 kilos in 1 year, and I ate a lot of avocados. But when I continued, I put on weight that I wasn't necessarily happy about. Then I've seen other people post, like Arlene saying, she doesn't like to have, I think we did a podcast together, and she's like, I don't like to have too many avocados. I saw Ted Carr recently post about the avocado situation. And I don't think any other vegetable or fruit does it like, not that I eat a lot of coconut meat, but why I think nuts don't is getting the fat. There's still a fair amount more of protein in nuts, and that makes it a lot harder and firmer to usually break down a food. And so you're usually not digesting as much of the nut as you actually think you are. Maybe avocados, they're just so digestible. You're like, but I notice in the community as a whole, I always like to look, especially because you can't really always apply science to us because most people in scientific studies are eating cooked meals, different lifestyle. So, but when I see something that consistently comes up, and that avocado one about putting on weight, I see come up often.
Yeah, it depends. It's very, and especially as females, hormonal as well. And that's why I teach more intuitive eating, because there's periods of my cycle. There's a video coming out tomorrow, actually, what I eat and how I eat throughout my cycle, because I do intermittent fast. So I eat in an 8-hour window. It's easy, it's effortless for me. And there are times I'll fall out of that, but predominantly I eat in the 8-hour window. But 2 weeks of the month, a week or two, I do increase a lot of my fats. I listen to my body. I need more avocados. I need more cashews and nuts. But for 2 or 3 weeks out the rest of the month, I'm pretty much fruit. It manages that. And this is what I teach intuitive, because we're eating. But you have to go. So my story, the first year of going, I was high raw. I had to heal a lot of my binge eating addiction. Like I was eating excessive amounts and then I'd train excessively. I just had to eat. I just wanted to feel full, but I was numbing myself. So I just wanted to be as raw as much as possible. So I was smashing in the 10 bananas, the avocados. I did put some weight on in that first year. But now, because I've healed a lot of the addiction, the binge eating, I don't do that anymore. I'm very intuitive. So I don't have the fear of avocados. If I eat it, I'm eating it. It's not coming from a place of, oh, I can't eat too much. No, it's very intuitive. For the week, the menstrual cycle, during my periods, I'll eat a lot. I'll eat a lot of avocados, a lot of nuts and seeds. But predominantly 3 weeks out the month, I'm not. It's very low fat.
When I go to like the raw food meetups here in Sydney, a lot of women I talk to online say very similar to what you're saying. But also a lot of them, I don't know whether this lifestyle is sustainable unless you actually do it intuitively. There's times where I know I wouldn't still be raw unless I'd actually walked to the shops and grabbed a food that my body wanted. As in, it was like I felt so unwell. and then I eat it and I feel well. And I think that's what we do with animals, right? The animals out there are like, need a nut, they eat it. They don't go and read about what nutritionists and experts say that look unhealthier than them. They just do it. And that's essentially what I feel you need to do on this lifestyle. Like you found what was working for you.
We've lost it, haven't we? We've lost that connection, the intuitiveness. I feel it's so very robotic. You do this for this and this and this. And that's what I like to work more towards, is the connect. That's why connection to self. What do you feel called to have? Like for many years, I didn't have herbs, and I don't even take supplements. And only recently I started to take the odd supplement, and I'm experimenting. But I'm listening. I'm very conscious of my body. I've never been so aware of how my body reacts and feels. It's unreal. The level of awareness is, it's fascinating. This is what I teach. So we're going to learn a lot of that, getting back to our own guidance system.
I found it so easy, and I always go back to Bali because I was literally just outdoors, just in my swimsuit all day with like tropical fruits. How easy it was to know what my body needed. It was like you just knew, like whether you need hydration, it was more watermelon, dragon fruit, and then you want a bit of density, you'd go to durian. Then very rarely, but then now and again, I'd want some greens. And I mean, I was only there for 10 days, but it was amazing how when you get grounded and that stillness and you're not stressed, you can hear so clearly what you need.
We're walking emotional eaters, all of it. And that's why we have to have this awareness, because I was one of the biggest ones. I'd eat just for the sake of eating and just out of habit when I'd go to friends. You'll see my video tomorrow. It's a very it's quite a detailed video. It's more about my thought process. So it's not as lots of exactly what you'll see what I eat, but it's very more in the conversation what I'm doing now, especially as I'm tuning more into my cycle. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about our hormones. So that'll be a good one to watch for those that are curious to see what we eat. And I didn't realize how, I thought I had a lot of variety, but I don't. It's quite same most days. But only out the week of the month is where I have a bit more of like, I'm going to go gourmet, raw vegan restaurant. And like you said, it's about sustainability. If I want that, otherwise, if I try and stick to what I normally do of just mostly fruit, it ain't happening, because fruit does not satisfy me for one. I'd say for about a week of the month, I am not really interested in fruit, or very little. I'm like, I want the higher fats. I do. Really, I enjoy the salads, the greens, the green juices, and lots of nuts and seeds.
And this will be good to talk about. You're coming on the Women's Health Podcast this month. Mm-hmm. So we have the Women's Health Podcast that we do once a month, and we have there's a whole team of us that do it. Like you've got Larissa, Kiko, Dulce, Marabella, Lissa, and you're the special guest this month. And so that's really interesting to share that.
What date was that again? That was 22nd.
I think it's the 22nd, yes. Yeah. The 22nd. Yeah. But I will post as it gets closer. And then what will the temperature be like in April, Toni?
Oh, it's actually one of the hottest time of the year. It's very dry. It can get up to, do you work in Celsius, around 40?
Celsius.
Yeah, it's going to be hot. It's a hot month. So it's just finishing out of Songkran, which is the Thai New Year. So it's where there's a lot of water fights, but when the retreat happens, it's just coming out of that. So that's why they celebrate the Thai with what we have a lot of water fights. There's a lot of hosing, and it's a fascinating time.
Water fights. What on earth is a water fight? Like, seriously, if we had a water fight here, I don't think it would stop. I think there'd be a few lawsuits. What is a water fight?
It's mental. It's a little dangerous because some of them throw these big water buckets out on the main roads while people are driving on their scooters. There's the most accidents, but it is very light. It's fun in certain areas, but it's just not really. It's not regulated, controlled. So anyone can. It's a bit mental. It is good fun. It is when you do it if you're in an area of like at the beach or something. Yeah, it's a good few days. Some do it on about 4 days, but usually 2 days is the main. It's the 13th and the 4th. So it's on my birthday, 14th of April, is when the new year, the Thai New Year is 13th.
Oh, I arrive on the 14th. No, we start on the 14th, don't we? The retreat. What date's the retreat start?
18, but you'll be there. You'll be there.
So you'll already be there.
So it'll just finish, which is great because then everyone's going to leave. So that'll be the time where Phuket's a little bit more quiet. So it's not as crazy. But I've noticed a shift in drop since last year. This year's we've actually had a low season, which feels good. Not noticeable on the roads, but on the beaches and the restaurants, it's much quieter, which we really appreciate when there's a low season. When the high season comes, it is a bit crazy, but it's nice because you've got some good energy coming in, some great people. But April's a great time because it's coming into our low season.
Okay,
a little hot.
Hang on. Ruby also just said there about how that was back to what you were talking before when you were talking about eating, how we tend to be afraid to be hungry. I don't know whether I get hungry anymore or whether my body just tells me what it needs. I'm not, because I think what I think of as hunger back when I ate denser foods was so completely different, especially when I was really sick. A lot of it was like, I have to have this now because I feel like I'm going to collapse. Or I'd want to overeat or undereat. And then now I feel like I'm so in tune. I just get told what I need. And it's not so distressing or confronting.
Yeah. Definitely in my menstrual cycle, it's natural for a woman to want more calories. And we use, as a person that's come from, restrictive, binge, I used to try and override that. And now it's like, no, I want more calories. I'm going to eat more calories. And then it's interesting because that very little calories, or I say very little, but compared to what I used to eat, I can get an idea of what I'm eating, but it's probably, usually around 2 meals a day is for most of the month. But that week, it's like I can eat. I'm just constantly eating within, even that eating window can be shifted a little bit. I'm not as strict. I just listen. I'm just listening if my body wants it. But yeah, it's definitely a different level of awareness. And I don't get that angry, intense hunger feeling anymore.
Yeah, no, neither do I. I almost feel like my body, it's not so stressed out about calories. It's more, it just wants all this nutrition to keep the body running efficiently. That's how I feel more so now for myself. So, Toni, I'm curious, have you seen anybody go 6 months on a juice fast to get their GI tract fully and stop having solid bowel movements completely on a fast?
I've seen many, and it can take, everyone's journey is different, but I don't feel, sometimes it depends on how you feel. If you can go as long as that, it's not necessary to go as long as 6 months on a juice fast. But, raw foods are really going to clean us out naturally over time. Depends on, there's many variables here, and that's why coaching is necessary for some people, depending on your goals. But solid bowel movements, it's recommended to go as long as you can until you've got no solid bowel movements, but not always necessary. I would say for depending on how much you have, and it doesn't depend on size, how much the size of your weight, but it's how much waste we've got in the GI tract. So it can be 100 days. I wouldn't say, I had a client 365 days she did for a juice cleanse, and she used to suffer really bad migraines. She had a lot of health issues, and that was necessary for her. So she kept listening. I didn't push her. I just wanted to encourage her to listen and see what felt good for her. If she wanted to stop, that was fine. We can still heal. But I think for most people, 100 days, even 40 days, you're going to see some great. I did 2 40-day cleanses, and a 30 days. And I'm not opposed to continue doing them, but I'm happy with where I'm at with what I'm doing right now. Maybe I'll go deeper in the future.
All right. Well,
Shall we finish there then?
yeah, and we're back tomorrow anyway. So you can, if you
Yeah.
guys go away and think about anything, you can message us if you have any questions you'd like us to talk on, or you want to go book, you can go across and book. I have put the link. The link is in the descriptions for you guys to look. But yes, we'll be back with Ganesh talking more.
Yeah, on the food, the particular food and his expertise. So come with your questions, and yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to actually talking to him in person, because we know him, but not actually met. His work's incredible. He's on Instagram. Check all his information. He's got incredible foods there. I'm excited.
He definitely does. Okay, well, thank you guys, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you soon.